What's it like to live and work on a US Navy ship? To find out, I spent 24 hours aboard the USS Ross, a US Navy destroyer that was deployed to Europe as part of NATO's naval forces.
There you go.
The USS Ross was deployed to European waters for 8 years. From its home port in Rota, Spain, the Ross would regularly sail with NATO allies during exercises, and as part of standing NATO Maritime Group 1 charged with patrolling the southern seas. As a guided missile destroyer, the Ross boasts a powerful arsenal and advanced sensors which make it an asset for NATO's maritime forces. At more than 150 meters long, the Ross is home to roughly 280 sailors. For them, this is their home, their office, their gym, and their dining quarters. This is my first time on a US Navy ship. Because this is unknown territory for me, I wanted to start with a tour. So as you can see, it's pretty crowded, so you gotta be careful where you're going. You gotta be polite. Everyone's super polite.
This is the ship's store. This is where our sailors come to get snacks, or if you brought your own soap supply and you kind of ran out of patrol, they've got soap here, they've got toothpaste, snacks, and other cravings that you might want that aren't necessarily served during meal hours.
Let's hit the gym.
Physical readiness is a big deal in the Navy, so it's important to have gyms on the ship so everybody can work out and stay physically fit.
Let me flex a little. I can actually do 1.5.
2.
Yeah! That's an ab workout.
1.
I'm not good at this. This was probably my biggest surprise. There's a barber shop on the ship.
So it's important to have a barbershop on the ship so that everybody can get their hair cut and keep it within regulations, even when we're underway for long periods of time.
So we're in the kitchen right now, and I heard it's not called a kitchen, but it's
a galley.
It's a galley. So any ground rules entering the kitchen?
So entering the kitchen, usually we grab a paper cover, of course. For females, we ask that they tie their hair back, check, and then you just go about your normal routines.
Should we take a trip?
Let's take a
together?
quick trip. And we got my CS2s, my right and left hand right here. They do everything they need to do, and they look out for our guys. It's all I could ever ask. There's one of the food preparation stations here. We got the copper pits that they work in. They cook things. We have meats. We also have a night crew that does a lot of preparations for us also. So it's a small galley. It's a DDG, so it's not big like on a carrier or anything like that.
How many people do you have to serve?
So on average, with no guests, we have approximately 300, a little over 300 people that we serve. We try to have at least 45 days worth of food off the bat. So they start our best year lunch. That is a lot, breakfast, small, and vessels such as this.
Welcome to my room. It's kind of tiny, and this is where the officers would usually sleep. Here we got my bed, which is not called a bed, it's a rack. And then you can see these straps. They will protect me from falling out of my bed if the ship gets a bit too rocky. Voila! That's it. Am I gonna sleep well tonight? I think yes. I hope so. Peace out. During an exercise, NATO ships train on everything, from sailing in formation to gunnery drills. A typical day can get quite busy. Right now we're out on the deck and there's about to be a live fire exercise. And Jack, can you tell me about that ship? What's going on there?
Okay, so that's the HMS Trent. They have something on the back. It's like a giant balloon called the Killer Tomato. That ship's going to drop off the Killer Tomato into the water, and then that ship's going to rejoin the formation. And once they join the formation, all the ships are going to open fire on the killer tornado at the same time.
Very, very, very loud. I did not expect it to be that powerful.
It was interesting to see USS Ross working together with NATO ally countries' ships in the formation, seeing how they work together, how to figure out stuff together, how to get through problems if there are some.
The USS Ross runs like a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows their place and does their job, but if a disaster strikes, everyone's job becomes damage control.
Right now we're in a damage control locker. I'm about to experience some damage control stuff going down. Can you explain me, please, what's about to happen?
On board USS Ross, we have to train every sailor to be a firefighter because we don't have the luxury of requesting emergency services, obviously while at sea and when we're in the middle of battle.
I'm gonna put that gear on right now, I assume, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. It's already hard to move in this thing.
This is a breathing apparatus that we use to ensure that none of our firefighters are breathing any of that toxic air.
I feel very, very heavy.
There you go. Looking for any last minute skin. It's your hand right there.
You have to do this in 2 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Oh my god. I'm so slow, but I'm not the worst probably, you know?
No. Not for your first time. You're doing just fine.
He's lying.
There you go. All right. So last but not least, the Navy Firefighting Thermal Imager. What this is for is seeing through smoke, helping you identify hot spots that are located after we put out a fire, as well as finding the base of a fire during an attack. The location of the fire was located on starboard side, mid-level. That's the area you're going to be searching for your hot spots in. Are you ready? Outstanding, you found it.
This is heavy. It's not fun. It's not easy to wear all this equipment. I could barely climb the stairs, the ladder. Not the stairs, the ladder. Whew! I'm gonna need a shower after this.
And now, my favorite part, the mess hall. The mess hall is an area where enlisted sailors come to socialize and have their meals. Today, we're having a special meal, Mongolian barbecue.
How is it?
Hot.
Is it yummy?
Good job. Definitely the best meal I've had on an exercise. Props to you, USS Ross.
I don't think I would last 4 months out here on a ship. You get kind of claustrophobic. You want to get some of your own space, but that's not really possible. The sailors here are pretty friendly. They're very nice. You can see that they're very, very focused on their job. And from what I've seen, I know it's a tough job,